online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome to the Biggest Loser After Show. And as you can see, we are in our festive attire for a happy Halloween.
Jazz hands.
We both went for the 90s, 80s kind of, workout queens. Yes, we're very excited for tonight's episode, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
I kind of went part Cyndi Lauper, part Madonna, part fitness gear of the 80s. Yeah. I just couldn't quite decide.
I think I was trying to channel my Lisa from Saved by the Bell. Do you remember her?
Oh, yeah.
I loved her. And I wish I had a thigh master. I wanted to come in with a thigh master.
On the table up here.
But wait, we got to show our legs.
Yeah. Oh, no. God help us. Look. Oh, yeah. Bit of leg air guitar. Meow. No, the funniest thing about the legs, though, is I was going, oh, they're hilarious leggings. And you go, oh, I actually wear these in real life.
Yes, I actually do wear these. All this was in my closet, and I was able to make this.
And I have to say, kudos to you. You got out of the car at the gas station in a leotard and tights.
I did. Everybody was looking at me like, where is this girl going? She doesn't really look like a hooker because she's in 70s, 90s, 80s kind of look with the side ponytail, but I'm just going to AfterBuzz to do my show for you guys. Welcome. If it's your first time, I'm Fallon Mercedes. You can find me online at fitwithfallon.com or at fitwithfallon on Instagram and Twitter. Where can they find you, AJ?
Findingmymojo.com or at AJAY Rochester.
Can I just say one thing to you?
Yes.
I got here early and I was so excited, and it just makes such a difference when you do a show that you are passionate about and you have wonderful, passionate co-hosts to work with. We are literally backstage taking notes and just having a good time. We're so, surprised about how some of the contestants look and oh no, we think this person's going to go home. And it's such a pleasure to be here with you and to host with you and you guys too. You. I read your comments, I see that you guys tweet at us and watch our videos on YouTube and download us on iTunes, and we just so appreciate you guys. It's just nice to feel like a Biggest Loser.
We're growing.
AfterBuzz family.
Yeah, no, it's really great. And I mean, it really is inspiring to see all these people change their lives. And back at you, girl. I love you. I think you're great. And,
thank you.
I'm really looking forward to kind of what we're going to do. There's 7 weeks left or 6 weeks left.
Yeah.
We're going to have to plan something big for the finale show.
Yes.
We might have to come in glamorous clothes or
Yes.
something. I like this dressing up thing.
I know. This is fun. All right, so we'll get to it. We only have a little bit of time. This week's episode was called The Penalty Box. Of course, this is season 16, episode 8. And, I wish they would have called it Sin City, or what did you want them to call it?
Sinners and Winners.
Sinners and Winners, because in this episode, we had, a loser team have to go to Las Vegas, but we won't reveal that just yet, just in case you didn't watch. So can you set us up the challenge for us?
Yeah.
I had to do it with water again, kind of like last week's episode, but this time it had a treadmill.
Yeah, the killer treadmill challenge. So only one person from each team had to get on this very long incline treadmill. And I'm like, why are they wearing helmets? And then I realized they're 6 or 10 feet up off the ground, and they all had to keep up and walk for ages and ages. And then if they fell off, they fell back into the pool. And I was kind of waiting for one of those YouTube moments where, those people fall off the treadmill and go smack down on their face.
Yeah.
It's that's why they're wearing the helmets. And the winning team gets to choose which of the other teams, one goes to Vegas.
A week trip, which you would think would be a great thing, but
Unless
it's
you're
really
Biggest Loser.
not. Yeah. So explain to us why it was not a great thing to go to Sin City.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's really tough when you travel. Anytime you travel, there's multiple factors. And, you've got, the travel, because they're traveling in planes, and that's a bit of an issue. And you can't, you're gone for hours, and you can't control your food intake, you can't control your exercise. And, of course, they get, well, I won't talk about the fact, like, when they get there.
Mm-hmm.
But, you're not in control of the cooking. All the food's covered in salt and sugar and fat and all that kind of thing. So it is really, really tough. And they didn't even have their trainers. So that was that penalty. And then the other one was the other team got to stay back and clean the house.
Yep. So what it is,
sucks.
the other losing team, they had to stay and clean the entire house before they could work out with their trainer. So they do at least get to work out with their trainer, but that whole house needs to be spotless. And the winning team is going to trash it.
Oh, yeah. No, but there's homemaker journals. They always kind of tell you that hey, vacuuming your lounge room will burn 300 calories.
That's funny. They didn't even mention that. Like, all that cleaning does burn calories. That's interesting. I didn't
you
think
could
of that.
like squat and bend down and scrub the floor and all that kind of thing. So that is the lesser of the penalty. But it was so funny because when they went back to the house and, there was mess everywhere. There was like toothpaste on the mirror. And I was like, the producers so messed up the house.
And the toothpaste on the mirror said, sorry, we left such a mess.
Yeah. And like dribbles of it everywhere and dishes. And it's like, oh, come on. The other housemates did not do that.
Yeah, they did not. So each team had to pick one member to go on the treadmill because there was only 3 spots. So for the blue team, Damien was picked. And, we see him as such a fighter. He's amazing.
And he's kind of looking a little bit hot right now.
I know. I heard you. I was like, okay, I see you. You have the hots for him.
Mentioned that a few. Well, I like me a black man.
Hey.
I'm quite partial to.
I will remember that. I will, try to play matchmaker.
And then there was Scott and Rhonda Lee.
Yep.
Little Rhonda Lee's about half the height of those guys.
She is. But she came on very confident when she went on there. She's like, I was a volleyball player. I know they're athletes, they were professional football players, but she was like, I think I got this. She was very confident. But that confidence seemed to go away after, I think it was about 45 minutes they were up there. And see, the thing is not only was it on an incline, but they speed up the treadmill.
Yeah.
So you got to keep up. And the further you are back, the harder it is to get to the front and the closer you are to getting left in the water.
And then you got to run again, and once you're sprinting and you're getting out of breath and all that kind of thing. But I mean, we're both shorties. I mean, I'm like 5'1", and I think you're probably
I'm
similar.
5 feet even.
Yeah. Finally taller than somebody. Woo! And it is really a lot harder on that treadmill, and I don't know whether they matched the speeds. I can't imagine that they would have, but it did look like it.
It looked like they matched the speeds. And one thing
tough.
that I thought was funny that Scott had said, Scott was a football player. He played a quarterback. And he was like, I am not going to lose to Damien, especially that he was a lineman. I guess there's ranks in football. Your quarterback is kind of like the head guy, the leader. Then you got, your receivers, your linemen. So he was not going to lose to Damien.
Yeah, it was funny. It was a good challenge. I kind of liked it. Was it, I think, white team went out first?
Yep, so the first one to go was white team.
Yeah.
And, of course, that was Rhonda Lee.
Yeah.
And, I give her credit because she's been injured this entire time. We've been seeing her. She's mostly on the bicycle.
That's Blake.
Oh, Blake. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Rhonda Lee, is she injured too? I'm trying to think now.
No, Rhonda Lee's the softballer.
Yeah, she was complaining though her knees.
Oh, her knee.
Yeah,
her knee was starting to hurt.
Yeah, I think she's had previous injuries in her knees. So
I think they're probably all injured to some extent.
But you got to expect they're working out 7 hours a day or more. Yeah. I work out for an hour a day and I feel my shin splints.
Yeah, and they're carrying the weight of 2.5 people as well.
Exactly.
Which really
That's
adds
a lot
to the
of weight.
element.
Yeah, so I imagine. So she was the first one to go. Then it was, of course, Damien and Scott. Yep. So Damien and Scott were facing off with each other, and I so thought Damien was gonna win.
Yeah.
He's just so competitive, but he could not keep up, and he was the second one to go into the water. And let me tell you, it didn't look like an easy fall.
No.
I was like, Damien, that looked like it hurt. That I can see why they had those helmets on them.
But you got to remember, last week when Scott was taking the training sessions, he really became like a trainer. You know, he was really pushing his team.
He was a leader.
Yeah. So I think Scott really has that killer element, that absolute champion element. I mean, doesn't he have 4... whatever you call those Super Bowl ring things? Says the Australian who knows nothing about football.
No, you said it right. That's awesome.
So, you know, you can understand why he's like, I'm not losing this challenge. And it was funny because we didn't realise that at that point, we both giggled when we realised the winning team got to choose the penalties.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think the blue was probably not as big a penalty as they thought because blue had to clean the house. It's only 2 people that ever dwindle it. It's like the shortest team in the history of Biggest Loser.
So there was only 2 people cleaning the entire house. So even their trainer, Jessie, even was chiming in because he figured the quicker they got the house clean, the more time he had with them to work out.
He was
He
dirty.
had to roll up his sleeves and get in there too. So it was kind of funny to watch Jessie. Poor Jessie.
Well, he was complaining. And, you know, if I were Jessie, I mean, he's poor guy. He's had such a tough run. And he was like moaning and whinging and he was really angry that they didn't win that challenge.
But like at the same time, there's only 2 people, you know, that's a lot of pressure on them to hold up. So, but the white team got sent to Vegas. Now, let me tell you, this is the first time red team won a challenge.
Yay!
So, but this is the first time the white team had been without their mother hen. And that's what they like to call Jen, the mother hen. She's so close to her teammates. And, you know, even before they were sent off to Vegas, Jen had sat down with Woody and was talking to him because she realized it was the upcoming of Woody's 29th anniversary. Now, just a, you know, backstory, Woody's wife died 9 months ago to cancer. So
wife of 29 years.
Yeah, they were best friends. You know, they even showed the picture of her and she was beautiful.
Yeah.
She looked youthful, you know. So it was so really my heart.
Oh my God, I cried.
I know, we were both weeping, and even Jen, you know, she was crying. It was really hard to watch a grown man break down and talk about losing his other half. But one thing that I really loved about Jen is that she is so genuine. You can feel it through the TV. You know, she was even crying with him and she had said to him, you know, we don't want you to just put that away and say, you know, we want you to just get over it. She kind of told him like, no, we want you to use all that love that you have for your wife and use that as strength and motivation to move forward and to show your kids when you go home how to properly deal with the grieving process, because his kids are going to look to him, you know, and how to handle this situation.
Yeah, look, she's so incredibly articulate. I do love her so much. And it's interesting because he's so lost in his grief that this was the first time that he stepped out of that and kind of realized that he really has to carry the torch of his wife for his children and live for them. And he literally said that, he felt that he had died and he wasn't living and he had died with his wife. And wow, 29 years and you just... he said, oh, if I had one more day and one more week. And I was like, I want to marry him.
I know.
He's amazing.
Yeah,
like, what a
is.
beautiful, beautiful man.
Yeah, he is. Inside and out. He's beautiful on the outside as well.
So we hope that he kind of really does grow from that and goes home to his kids, which next week we do know that the families are coming. Or, well, they get that Skype calls.
I mean... That's pretty good. I'll take a Skype.
Yeah, so hopefully he'll get to that stage. So.
All right, so the white team is off to Vegas, to Sin City, and we get to see what it is really like, for the contestants to face their temptation. Now, JJ, off the bat, I was so worried about. Yeah. He just looked like a party guy. He was like, I want to drink.
He's like, I want to go to clubs.
I know. They were popping champagne. And then they got faced with going to a buffet, which has tons and tons of different types of foods.
Best part of Vegas.
Yeah, that are not very healthy. So we see the contestants talking to the chefs like, okay, what do you think we should stick to?
Yeah.
What's in this? But even their duck was...
Yeah, but duck's fatty. I mean, the fact that he's even asking about duck, it's like braised in
know.
fat, in lard.
Yeah,
even.
and that's what the chef said. Like, we even bake that in fat, so you want to stick away from that. So what they stuck to was vegetables and salads, and while they were at the table, JJ said he would have normally picked some sausage, but it looked like he was eating sausage.
And he was also like, so we off to the dessert bar next, and just nobody cracked a smile, and I'm like,
and then
I can feel
he
his
even
pain.
said, "When in Rome," I was just like, he is gonna mess this up for the entire team.
I so would have liked to have seen a little bit of kind of crazy action. I was a little disappointed.
It was nice to see them on the dance floor, and dancing burns calories, so
That's
maybe
true.
he burned off what he ate. But the following day, it was straight business. You can see them really pulled together as a team. They were in the pool working out, and they even climbed the little miniature Eiffel Tower that they have there. And it might not be as big as the one in Paris, but it did look like a lot of stairs.
And I think Woody was really kind of freaking out because it was the anniversary of his wife's death. And there was one point where the club, i.e. the producers, send over a tray of
drinks.
shots,
Yeah.
vodka shots. And Sonia's trying to take it from him, and he's like, no, just let me hold it for a little while.
Yep. And then Sonia's like throwing hers out, and she's like, Woody, you need to throw it away.
And I think they left enough hanging for us to kind of wonder how they were going to go during the weigh-in. It was kind of nice. I've got to say that I think they probably showed more restraint than a lot of previous contestants. I hope they do that again. It was such a great idea. Whoever came up with that is just pure genius.
Yeah, no, they did a good idea.
I love it. Let's send them to Vegas.
Yeah, I like the producers. They're kind of switching it up, which is nice for us at home. We got excited each episode that we watch because we don't know exactly what's going to happen.
And I think because we've lost the whole, because with Comeback Canyon, we don't, the elimination's not as exciting anymore. So there is that element that they have to kind of drum up what's going to happen at the end. At the moment, the most exciting thing is how is the weigh-in going to go? And so it was kind of good that we had that. We didn't see too much of whether they did well or didn't until they got on the scales at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just looking at my phone. I wasn't ignoring you, but I was just pulling something up that I had saved that I wanted to talk about today. This is the 10th year anniversary for The Biggest Loser here in the States. And in 10 years, The Biggest Loser has helped the contestants lose over 33,000 pounds.
Hey,
that is a lot of weight, and that's equivalent to 30 horses, 8 cars, and half a plane.
Wow.
And, they help the contestants lose 33,000 pounds, but they have helped millions of others at home.
Yeah,
so
true.
Kudos to The Biggest Loser for, using their powers, their TV powers for good to actually help people. And this episode I noticed too, they said if you want healthy recipes or alternatives to go to thebiggestloser.com, which kind of fit in with the whole them going to the buffet at the in Vegas.
I mean, even those veggies are doused in fat as well. I mean, there's nothing good to eat in Vegas. So, come on, let's be real. Although when I spoke to Matt on the phone the other day, he did say that his staple in traveling is he can get a salad everywhere he goes, and that's his first go-to. So he'll always get a salad and a meat, a protein, and he's just not training as much because he travels a lot in his job. So he's kind of feeling that pressure of work and travel and exercise.
He's engaged now. We talked about this backstage. When you're in a relationship,
you get fat.
Yeah, if your partner is not going to the gym with you, sometimes you want to just hit the snooze button on the weekend and kind of just cuddle and eat.
Oh, I
and
think
watch
she's
TV.
Pushing him to the gym. I mean, remember, she's that shape up or ship out girl.
But I don't know.
Maybe she wants him to win $100,000 so they can go on a nice honeymoon
That
and pay
would
for the
be
wedding.
Nice. I hope she's working out with him.
We hope they live happily ever after.
Yeah. We hope. Speaking of working out back on the ranch, the red team is killing it working out with Dolvett. He seems so confident. He's like, I got this. I get to work out with my team all week. And you see them all going hard. And then you see little Blake, she's on the bicycle. And, I think that's all she can do because she's
got a
so
yoga
injured.
mat on the seat. Because we've all been on that bike seat for that amount of time.
Where your
hurts.
butt is just killing you.
And other bits. Yes.
And we see Dolvett go over to her and kind of have a heart to heart, and he's like, this is when you really have to push through. And she was telling him, like, I don't want to be here for myself because it's lonely. Like, I miss my friends. I need that surrounding. We got to remember, she's young.
She's a baby.
Yeah, she's only 18, and she's just so beautiful and genuine and innocent. And it's just like, I can imagine being that young at that age, being without her family, being without her friends, and even being without her social media. I can imagine she must feel like the world is coming to an end.
She probably misses tweeting and texting more than she does burgers and fries.
Exactly. I bet you. Yes, I bet you.
Oh, the youth of today.
I know. So we see her pull through, and she kind of, after she spoke with Dolvett, I'm really starting to love these little heart-to-hearts with the contestants.
Yeah.
But after she spoke with Dolvett, it seemed like she had a little breakthrough where she kind of was recentered and ready to kick butt and work hard.
Her Blake through.
Yeah, Blake through.
Hey. I need to get a life.
Yeah, we love the show too much.
Yeah.
So she had her Blake through, but what worried me was that, first I was worried about Woody, because whenever they do like a one-on-one, it's kind of a telltale sign that hey, you might be getting sent home. But then when they did that one-on-one with Blake, I was like, uh-oh, I think she's the one.
Plus she's injured. She is so badly injured. I mean, she's wearing 2 casts, one on each foot. I'm guessing, like Mike, she's stuck on the bike and the pool, and it's really hardcore trying to lose weight that way. And and her numbers have been dwindling. I mean, she was getting 10s before she was injured every week, and then it dropped to 5s, and then 3 last week. And you could just tell that she's really struggling. So it's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. But speaking of like really average numbers, Comeback Canyon.
Oh yeah,
the girls at Comeback Canyon.
Okay, so again, we see one of the trainers have heart-to-hearts with the contestants. Bob really dug in. Not only did he beat their butts, but he, was able to kind of sit down with them and do some yoga and kind of get in their heads and really kind of give them a good pep talk. But I guess it didn't help because, when it came to the scale, they both didn't lose big
Gina
numbers.
and Jackie, yeah, tough call. I mean, it's funny because on the YouTube comments, a lady was saying that, she's middle-aged. Because I mentioned last week, I said, I've had that curse where I've, worked out, a lot and then lost nothing and kind of scratched my head and gone, God, my eating's been perfect and all that kind of thing. And as you hit, the older years, it does get a little harder to lose weight. And, this lady was saying she'd kind of felt the same. And, I mean, Gina's certainly, that age. I don't like the term middle-aged, but she's just not a spring chicken anymore.
Yeah.
And she struggled 3 weeks in a row getting really, really low numbers, but saying she's done the work. She's done the work and she can't understand why.
And we see it in her face, but we're not seeing it in her body. It seems like her stomach area is still holding on to.
But you know what? I love
weight.
that because there's so much fat shaming. I don't know whether you know about that woman that does the what's your excuse, and she's this really skinny, like she's so skinny it's disgusting. She's had an eating disorder and she wears this tiny little tank top and she's got 3 kids and she kind of went viral and she's like, what's your excuse?
Oh,
and this week,
cheerleader chick, mother chick.
And this week she kind of said, real women aren't fat. Real women aren't, overweight. And it's just like, well, hold on a second. We're all real. I mean, I gave birth to a child. I'm pretty real.
Yeah.
I think it's really important that we kind of look at people like Gina and Jackie and these people who, are genuine. They're athletic. They're success stories.
Hold on.
They're overachievers.
Athletic.
Okay. Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Okay, she's played sport.
Gina was a cheerleader in high school. I don't know if she was a competitive cheerleader, but
you're going to get the hate mail from the cheerleaders who are claiming it's
I was
a real
cheerleader,
sport.
but I had to switch over to a couple other sports.
To real sports.
No, but that being said, she even mentioned it after the show. She said, this is the most athletic that I've ever been in my whole life, because I don't think when she was cheerleading, she was as active until now. So,
but it's nice just to kind of go, look, it's not being overweight and not losing weight is not just about being, a pig at a trough and lazy and undisciplined. You know, it's just really nice, Biggest Loser, to just, it's not all about the fat shaming this season. And I think that's an important message. Just, we should all love each other no matter what size, shape and weight we are.
And let me say, this is not a plug for Special K, but they had done a campaign where it says, I think it was something like love the size no matter what size, or love your, or something about the pants.
Oh, they took the sizes off and made them like empowered.
So they did this little commercial, and they had all these real women come to a store to try on pants, but there was no pant sizes. So they asked them, hey, do you want us to measure you so you know what size you are in these pants? They're all like, yeah. So when they were sizing them, you know, some women were size fabulous, some women were size amazing, some women were size gorgeous. So
empowered.
So all the women, you know, they felt great no matter what size they are. So I think that's something that we all should do, is feel great what size you are. And, you know, that shouldn't stop you for being the best self that you can be as well.
And I think that's a really important message as women too. I think, you know, the media really like to try and bat women up against each other, and also break women down and make them not feel as whole when they're not a certain size. And even Tina Fey came out this week and she just said, you know, women need to be supporting each other. We just need to stop ripping each other apart.
It's just so much insecurity, you know, that it's easier to rip somebody else apart that's not, you know, like you.
But exactly.
We love the team camaraderie.
Camaraderie
here on the show. And we see that even, you know, with Gina in the Comeback Canyon, you know, they're supposed to be against each other, whoever you're facing off at, you know, Comeback Canyon.
They're really good friends, those two.
Yes,
they're like almost like sisters.
I know. So it must have been hard to, you know, see Gina go. She only lost 2 pounds this week. So it wasn't really that much. And Jackie had lost a total of 3 pounds. So,
tough call.
You know, she was 1 pound enough to save herself for at least one more week at Comeback Canyon. Now let's talk about the real weigh-in. The real weigh-in.
Bob would not like you calling it the real weigh-in.
That's okay. I got a story about Bob that I'll tell you guys a little bit later.
Oh, awesome. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay. So back on the ranch for the real weigh-in, it's like I was so excited to see it because I wanted to see, especially the white team, want to see what their results would be. So I'm about to spill my tea.
So red kick it off.
Yep. So
the red, great numbers.
Yeah, the red team had great numbers. In total, they had lost 23 pounds and 2.01 percent body fat. Rob lost 9 pounds.
Which who Mike thinks is going to be the winner.
Yes, this is true.
Get consistent numbers.
Yeah. Scott 5 pounds, Jordan 6 pounds, and Blake 3 pounds. Now on to the white team. We have they need to lose a total of 28 pounds. Rhonda Lee lost 3 pounds. JJ 7 pounds, which let me say I was worried about JJ.
Yeah.
So for him to pull 7 pounds while he was away, and you know the last previous 2 weeks he lost 7 pounds as well. So I mean this just shows you
3 weeks in a row, that's 21 pounds in 3 weeks.
Yeah, so cool. This just shows you he was kicking butt. He did have his fun. He did a little sitting, but
I bet they had some drinks.
Sitting
Come
is
on.
winning. No, they did. They had the I think it was something on the rocks with like
I didn't quite catch what that was.
Yeah, so they had a little bit to drink, but it was probably like the least calorie.
Well, vodka is like the least carb.
It wasn't vodka. I think it was gin they had.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it was gin and tonic.
Oh yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it might have been gin and tonic, but he did well, so we'll give him a pass. You know, he made it up. We had who else?
Sonia 6.
Yep. Sonia 6, Toma 8. Might I say, Toma, we don't know anything about. He is just so quiet, but he's still in the game.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to hear more of his story. And Woody, our favorite, who was in City, which is his hometown. And, you know, we know that he was going through, you know, that anniversary without his wife. So this was going to be a difficult one for him. So it was really all on his shoulders to pull a big number so they can, you know, win more than the red team. And he lost 7 pounds to make it a total of 31 pounds. They lost 2.22% body fat. So that leaves us to the blue team. Now, the blue team only has 2 people, so they needed to lose a total.
And it means white is safe too.
Yes, so white is safe. They only have 2 people, so that means they needed a total to lose 11 pounds. Yeah, 11 pounds in total, and I have my notes somewhere.
Laurie lost 3, and Damien brought home a whopping 9 pounds.
Yeah, he killed it.
Awesome.
Damien, and you even said it during the show, you can really see the difference in his face and his body. Even his legs look great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He just looks so different and quite handsome, really. And I kind of made a joke there. I was like, every weigh-in, Jesse must have to change his underwear because seriously, he's got 2 teammates left. He'd be sitting there thinking, "Oh my God,
am I going to make it to the next episode?"
It's kind of strange because I vaguely remember it was a few years ago that I think it couldn't have been Jillian. It must have been someone else. They lost all of their teammates and they were kind of left standing around going, what do I do now? And then when that happens, the producers usually scramble around and find something else for them to do. So there'd be sort of, they'd switch teams or do some kind of challenge or secret training. So they wouldn't just Jessie wouldn't just go home and have a holiday until the finale. So they're always trying to think on their feet and adapt.
One thing that Damien had said is that he is, athletically in a zone that he's never been before, even while he was playing football. So he is so focused and the eyes on the prize. Even though it's 2 of them on his team, he knows at the end of the day, this is a one-man show because only one person can bring it all home, take the money, and be the biggest loser. Yeah. So that's what he's focused on.
And so even with 2 people, blue are safe. Jesse breathes a sigh of relief, and red. Dolvett must just be so kicking himself because he had that team, he had the gym, he had them all week, and he
what's the
still
problem?
couldn't make the numbers.
What else can you do? He worked them out hard, but
Blake's going home.
Yep. So Blake gets sent home and she's crying. But like we all know, Bob is going to pop open that limo door and she's going to come to Comeback Canyon.
Do you see how long her hair is?
Yeah.
Her hair is down to her butt. I swear that would weigh probably 5 pounds.
I know. She should cut her
girl,
hair.
time for a buzz cut, right?
So
if you're not dropping the pounds on the scales, cut your hair off.
You are so funny. I didn't even think of that. That's why I love you.
We used to always joke that at finale, because certain contestants go and they get in the sauna for 24 hours before, and others get, what do you call the thing with put the hose up your butt and they wash you out?
I know what you're talking, a colonic.
Yeah, that. If they go and get that, because think of how much, we don't need to go into details, but you'd lose a bit there.
Yeah.
And I always go, well, what else would you do? You'd cut your hair off.
That's
you'd
funny.
just do,
you'd do anything.
Our first year winner.
Take out your implants.
Yes. Yeah. I'd probably go and get a little bit of lipo.
That's funny. They probably can't if they found out.
Yeah, but how are you going to find out these days? Oh, no, let me tell you. About a month ago, I had this thing called Air Sculpt, and it's like laser lipo and on my arms, because I've always had these floppy arms. And you literally walk in, it's called lunchtime lipo, and you walk in and he sticks a laser in there and melts the fat in your arm.
I've heard of that.
And then puts in this tiny little straw and he sucks it out. And it's voila.
Do you see a difference?
Oh my God. It was 50. I'll bring in my before and after photo next week.
Oh, wow.
It's 50% difference immediately.
Oh, wow.
Immediately. So no one would know, You just went in there and got it sucked out like Dr. Rollins. He's the only guy who can do it. You get in there. I get everything done. I'd lose a limb. Seriously, I'd be like boxing Helena. Just put me with a little head on a box and just carry me onto the scale.
You are just
I'll
too
do whatever.
funny.
I'm way too competitive.
I love you. Okay, this is why I love her as my co-host.
I just lost my arm on the plane. I'm still a contestant.
Yes, you are still a contestant. I guess one thing that I wanted to tell you guys about, a little rendezvous with some of the biggest loser
as we're
trainers.
Stalking Jen, because we're totally stalking Jen.
Okay, so Jen was on the cover of Muscle and Fitness Hers, and my good old mate AJ, she had told me about this party, and I was just like, oh, I have to go, I have to meet her. So it was the cover release party for Muscle and Fitness Hers and Muscle and Fitness. Both her and Arnold Schwarzenegger were there hosting the party, and JT, can you hit it? All right, so this is me. Hey, I'm hosting on the red carpet. As you can see, I'm next to Jen.
That's a big poster.
Her infamous abs. Can you switch?
And by the way, thank you, Matt Dillon, for making that happen. You're a legend. We love you.
And as you could see, I got to meet Jen, which was amazing. Now, let me tell you, I went up to Jen. I said, hey, my name is Fallon. I went to go shake her hand. And she immediately threw me in her arms and gave me a big hug. And she was so solid. I was just like, wow. Like,
she's little.
Yeah, she's little.
Because she'd have heels on, I'm
both
guessing.
have heels on, yeah. So she was so cute, so adorable. And when both her and Arnold got on the mic, you know, they were just so passionate and so happy. And she just seemed so genuine. And Arnold was kind of saying, like, you know, he's happy to see a breakthrough in fitness. It's not just for bodybuilders, it's for everyone. And to see the breakthrough where, you know, it's cool and now it's on TV.
Yeah.
And he was happy to kind of pass the torch down to Jen, and Jen was just glowing. It was so her night. And she was saying, you know, in third grade, she brought a picture of Arnold to school for show and tell, and she wanted to be like him. So this moment for her, you know, being able to share a cover of a magazine with him and to host that night with him was kind of making everything come full circle. So I was just so happy for her, and kudos to her and her success and her career. Like, I just see it taking off. And
we love you, Jen.
You know, I talked to her, seeing if we can get her in here for an interview.
Come on, Jen!
I know they are still taping for The Biggest Loser. But JT, let me ask you something.
What's up?
What camera am I looking at?
Whatever. That one.
Anyway, okay, I just wanted to make sure I was
Whatever
looking in the
you
right
feel
one. Okay, so she said that she will come in for the AFTERBUZZ show. They're still filming right now, but she could squeeze it in. We're going to get her in here. So if you guys have any questions, please, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on iTunes, please comment what you want to ask this beautiful woman.
And hit Jen up on Twitter and tell her she has to come in as well.
So it'll be cool to get her here. There was also a couple other familiar faces in the audience.
Like who was there?
Can you switch it, JT? Hey, it's the Terminator. What do you call him?
He's not as tall as I thought he would
no,
be.
He's not. Arnold Schwarzenegger himself. And let me tell you, he was so sweet and like just so cool with everybody. Unfortunately, I couldn't get him to come into AFTERBUZZ. He said he's kind of busy.
No, he said, I'll be back.
No, he did. But it was cool to meet him. JT, can you switch? And then Bob was there. I wanted to get an interview with Bob. He said, yeah, I'll be right there. And he never showed up, you know, for me to interview him because he was busy
does not look like Bob.
playing with dogs. And, you know, I almost didn't even ask him for an interview because I didn't know it was him. He shaved his mustache. But, you know.
Beard. He's like got the full beard in the show. But isn't that Lisa Vanderpump's dog?
No, there was somebody else who had a similar dog that looked like Boo.
Oh, it's
but
so cute.
Yeah, so he was kind of just relaxing. You know, the personality and the vibe that I got from him, he was there just supporting Jen.
I think that's sweet.
And he didn't really want, you know, the fame or the light. He was just like, you know, I just came here to kind of support her and have a good time. And he was just hanging out with the dog and having a drink. And,
nice.
And then I ran into one more familiar face. Can you switch it? And it is Matt. Matt was there. And it was cool because, you know, AJ just got to interview him. So I got to physically see him. And, you know, he did look well. He said he was having a little bit of a hard time keeping up on the workout schedule that he did on the ranch. You know, and as you can see, he did lose a lot of weight. He looks great. But, you know, he's going to try to do his best to win the at-home challenge.
No way. Not a chance. That's
No.
Mike's. I'm telling you, it is Mike's. Mike's doing 7 hours a day.
You did say that.
He's working out 7 hours a day, and he has a full-time job. And he is literally doing it 5 minutes at a time with a bike in his workplace.
Yeah.
And Matt's only doing about an hour and a half a day.
Yeah, well, Matt told me also that he actually he wants his abs back. He said he's had his abs before in his modeling days.
How many weeks?
Yeah, I know. So he's gonna work on it. But he was just so genuine and so happy. He said he was actually really close to Jen. He was the night before in Vegas, then drove down to LA, and he said if he does come back to LA, he would love to come on AFTERBUZZ and talk to us.
Well, and you know, Jen, bless her, she actually rings her former contestants every single Monday. she keeps in touch with them, and there's not a lot of other trainers who have done that previously, but she really is keeping up and making sure that they're checking in with her.
You know, she was so genuine. She seems like she really cares. You know, even Matt telling me the relationship that he has with her, I think she's just going to steal the show this year. I think she's awesome. I was looking at previous videos of her on YouTube, training videos, and let me just say, she has cleaned up her hosting act so well. I don't know if she's taken a lot of lessons or if this is just, you know, she's gotten to a place where her passion has just exploded, but she has come a long way.
She probably had a bit of media training, like coming into this. I mean,
because she's just so, even at the party, you know, she grabbed the mic and she was just effortlessly talking to everybody and was so awesome.
I think we need to rename this show the Jen Stalking AFTERBUZZ show.
We love her.
You really stalked her this week, like online and in person.
No, I did, and she tweeted me and retweeted me, so that's cool.
Love it. Commitment.
We'll get her in here. All right, let's do some predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV.
All right. So next week, we've seen a little preview. We have some NFL greats in the house who will be coaching and training some of the contestants. So I think that would be a cool switch up to get some motivation from people who, you know, have really succeeded in their sports. One of the coaches is legendary Michael Irvin. So
who's that? Says he's Aussie in the house.
Oh, yeah. I think he's a football player, I'm sure. But yeah, so it'll be great to see the contestants work with that. I really think Damien is going to connect with this, and Scott. I think they both are, you know, because they come, not saying the other people aren't, you know, great athletes, but I don't know. I think with them, they just still have it in them. That fight is just so ahead of the other contestants. So I think both Damien and Scott are going to do well next week.
I predict that there's going to be a lot of tears. Because they've got that whole thing about certain people win Skype interviews with their family, and there's going to be a lot of, like, you know, people are going to really want it. Everyone's going to want it, and I think the people who don't get it are going to be really devastated. And it's going to be interesting because the follow-on effect of that is it's not just I missed out on the meeting. It's a whole psychological space that these people are in, and some of them really desperately need it. You know, they've been in the house for a very long time. They want to know that their family's okay, and when you see these other people doing it, you kind of, it's going to be interesting to see who actually handles that.
Yeah. So it will be good, you guys at home. We want to hear your predictions for next week as well. So comment on YouTube, on iTunes, and tweet at us and let us know. What did you think of this episode also? Were you surprised? Were you let down? Hey, what did you think of us? We always want to know.
What do you think of our fabulous costumes? And what would you like us to wear next?
I know, right?
Other than more clothing.
I know. All right, guys. We will see you guys next week. Have a happy and safe Halloween. If you want some good healthy fitness Halloween ideas, recipes, go over to my blog, fitwithfallon.com. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at fitwithfallon.
And check me out at Kamikaze, Stanley's Kamikaze this weekend, 3 p.m. launching my anti-bullying campaign, thekapowies.com.
Nice. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AFTERBUZZ TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AFTERBUZZTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AFTERBUZZ TV.
Off the show to 80s.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AFTERBUZZ TV or its owners or principals.